Hey y'all, it's Julie. Okay, we're gonna be talking about how to calculate drops per minute. And you're not freaking out. Okay, first of all, you have to know the formula. It is the total volume times the drop factor divided by the time in minutes. This will equal drops per minute. This gets people right here, remembering to put the time in minutes. This is how I set mine up because I have a fear of fractions. If I have two fractions, I don't know whether to find a common denominator or cross multiply. So this is how I do it. Okay, so let's do some of these practice ones. This says you are, number one, 250 milliliters to infuse over 8 hours with a 15 drop factor. So I should have told you this. You have a 10, 15, 20, and 60 drop factor. This means 10 drops equals 1 milliliter. 15 drops equals 1 milliliter. 20 drops equals 1 milliliter. And then 60 drops equals 1 milliliter. They also call this one micro drip tubing. It's the only tubing used with peds. That's a little you're welcome. I'll remind you of that when we get there. But in the problem, they may say you have on hand micro drip tubing. You, the one, has to know that that is 60 drops, okay? They also talk about a drop factor constant. She may put that on there. Who knows? I'm gonna shut up. Once she find her glasses. If she wants to know the drop factor constant, all you have to do is do 60 over 10. And you know this says 60 divided by 10, and that would equal 6. I should start on another page. So for 10 drop factor, the drop factor constant is going to be 6. For 15, you would do 60 on the top over 15, and that would equal 4. For a 20 drop factor, you would do 60 over 20, and that would equal 3. And then for a 60 drop factor, you do 60 over 60, and that would equal 1. This is simply how you find the drop factor constant. Just throw 60 on the top of whatever they give you and then do your math. I'll do a video with just you working it with drop factor constant. But right now, we putting our big girl and big boy panties on because we're just fixing to do this. All right. So here we go. Let's do this one. 250 milliliters over 8 hours with a 15 drop factor. So remember, I'm going to put this over there so you can remember. what your thing is. All right. So this says 250 milliliters. You see, I'm going to write it on there so she knows I know what I'm talking about. Times a 15 drop factor divided by 8 hours. It's got to be, your time's got to be in minutes though. So what we're going to do, get our handy dandy calculator and go clear. Go 8 hours times 60 minutes is 480 minutes. That's what we're going to put down here, 480 minutes. Now, if she wants to see your work, you just showed it to her. You labeled everything, so she knows. Shut up. All right. And then when you're working it, you're going to do all the math on the top, hit equal, and then you're going to divide it by the number that's on the bottom. So here we go. Clear your little hickey-do and do 250 times 15 and hit equal. Don't worry about what it says, just move on. Divided by 480 equals 7.8 drops. Now, you cannot give 0.8 of a drop. So you are always going to round the drops to a whole number. So 8 would make that 8 drops per minute. Okay? Let's do another one. I know you're pumped about it. Calm down. Okay, 500 milliliters over 6 hours times a 20 drop factor. Here we go. 500 milliliters times 20 drop factor divided by, what is it saying? 6 hours. And we got to put it in minutes. So you know 6 hours will equal 360 minutes. So that's what we're putting down there. Now, we've set up our problem. Now we can get our calculator and do the math. Do all the stuff on the top and then move on. So get your handy dandy calculator and you go 500 times 20 equals divided by 360 equals 27.7. Look, I'm going to just do that again. You have the right to check your math. I would encourage it, especially if you're thinking, what in the world? 500 times 20 equals divided by 360 equals. Look, it happened twice, so I have to have it right. Huh. Okay. And that's going to be 28 drops per minute. And that's the right answer. Okay. You want to do another one? I know you do. Here you go. Okay. Number 3 says you got 1,200 milliliters and it's going over 10 hours with a 60 drop factor. Okay, so we're doing 1,200 milliliters times a 60 drop factor over 10 hours. So 10 times 60 is going to be 600 minutes. Like a machine. You know, saving lives. 1,200 times 60 equals, divided by 60 is 200. It's kind of hard to see that. 200 drops goods per minute. Now look, somebody gonna say those could have marked them each other out. Slap them, because they couldn't have. Oh Lord. All right, here we go. All right. Number 4, 125 milliliters over 8 hours with a 20 drop factor. Okay? 125 milliliters with a 20 drop factor over 8 hours. 8 times 60. 60 times 8 is going to be 480. So this is 480 minutes. All right, here we go. Hand it in the calculator. And we're doing 125 times 20 equals, divided by 480 equals 5.2 drops. You can't give 0.2 of a drop, so that will equal 5 drops per minute. Saving lives. Okay, so look at this one. Number 5, you got 750 milliliters. It's going in over 12 hours with a 60 drop factor. So, like a machine, 750 milliliters times, yeah, you'd think my memory would be longer than that, but 60 drop factor over 12 hours. So we're going to do, just so we can, just cause we can, we're going to do 12 times 60. That's 720 hours. I mean minutes. Good night. Okay. And we're doing the math. You ready? Okay. 750 times 60 equals, divided by 720 equals 62.5 drops. You know what I'm about to say. We can't give a half a drop. Good night. It's just not done. But you know 5's going to make it go up. If it's 5 or higher, then the number in front of it goes up. So it'll be 63 goods drops per minute. Okay? Now, I know that y'all have been given some problems probably. And so, I'm going to try to work a couple. All right, I'm running out of paper. But anyway, okay, so look. It says a volume of 2,000 milliliters to be infused in 24 hours on a set calibrated at 15 drops per milliliter. So, we're setting up our problem. And it is 1,200. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, my bad. Look. 2,000 milliliters with a 15 drop factor. and it's going in over 24 hours. Dookie fart. Okay, so let's just, because we can, 24 times 60. It's 1440 minutes. Okay, and we're not freaking. Those are big numbers, but we got our handy dandy calculator. So we're going to do all the math on the top and then divide it by that. That's what this fraction says. This times these two multiplied, and then this divided by that. Help them, God. 2,000 times 15 divided by 1440 equals 20.8 and a bunch of other stuff, but we don't need that. All right. And you know what I'm going to say. What's that going to happen? Right. 21 drops. Oh, God, are you all right? Per minute. Okay. I done read all over all this stuff. Oh, look at that one. Okay. You want to do another one? Calm down. Here we go. Look at number 2. It says a volume of 300 milliliters to infuse in 6 hours on a 60 drop per milliliter micro drip set. All right, you know exactly what to do. The total volume is 300 milliliters times 60 drop factor divided by, they want it to go in 6 hours. 6 times 60, you know, 360 minutes. We're going to do all that math and divide it by that. So here we go. Clear your handy dandy calculator. And it's, goodness, it's slippery. 300 times 60 divided by 360 equals 50. 50 drops per minute. Oh, look, we got it right. Look. See? 50. Yay, us. Okay, let's do another one. Number 3. A volume of 500 milliliters to infuse in 4 hours on 15 drop set. So, excuse me, 500 milliliters on a 15 drop factor going in over 4 hours. 60 times 4, 240 minutes. You know. Yeah, you know. Go on, do your thing. Here we go. 500 times 15 equals, divided by 240, 31.2. I mean, the 5 ain't gonna do nothing to nobody. So 31.2 drops, and that'll equal, go on, tell me that. Yeah, you're right. You saved them. Look, saved them. 31 drops per minute. That's all that is. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're on number 4. A 10-hour infusion of 1,200 milliliters using 20 drops. Now, I know they gave you that in a different order, and they're doing that on purpose. They want to know that you know what numbers to use and where to use them. So, 1,200 times 20 drop factor over 10 hours. Here we go, like a machine. 1,200 milliliters times a 20 drop factor over 10 hours. And, 10 times 60 going to be 600. All right. And then you're going to do all that math divided by that. So get your hand in the calculator. We should make a song. 1,200 times 20 equals divided by 600. 40. It's 40 drops per minute. I know you're getting it. I know you're getting this. They're really kind of fun once somebody shows you what in God's name. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So, number 5, you got an infusion of 500 milliliters in 5 hours. And you got a 10 drop factor. 500, 10, 5 hours. So we got 500 milliliters times a 10 drop factor over 5 hours. You see that? That's going to be 300 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do what we do. All right. 500 times 10 equals divided by 300, and it's going to be 16.6. It's got all them sixes. I know Jesus, so I ain't worried about all that. So, all right, you see the 6 is going to round that up because we can't give 0.6 of a drop. So that's going to be 17 drops per minute. The only way to get good at dosage calculations is to do them. So I would encourage you to do every single one of them in your leisure reading time. Okay. So look here. Number 6, you got 200 milliliters to infuse in 18 hours using 20 drop factor. 2,000 milliliters. Well, times a 20 drop factor. And it's going over 18 hours. 60 times 18. Okay. I should check myself. I'm kind of rusty on them 8s, By the time we got to the 8s, I was like, good God, woman, who cares? Okay. Yeah, I got it right. Okay. It's 1080 minutes. And then, like a machine, doing what we do, because we're nurses. 2,000 times 20 equals divided by 1080 equals, and it says 37.0. Well, we're gonna drop the 0, you know what I'm saying. 37 drops per minute. Okay, I've ran out of paper, but I believe that I've done enough where y'all be able to work the rest of them. I don't want you to be intimidated by it. This is all it is. It ain't rocket science. Or else some people wouldn't have passed go. I'm going to shut up. And we're going to pray for them all. Father, help it be clear to them. And bless them. In Jesus' name, amen. He's going to help y'all.